Hey everyone, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be Double Dragon 2: The Revenge for the NES. This is a game I did a Let's Play on several years ago. However, I did the medium difficulty. It turns out if you play the game on Supreme Master, which is the hardest difficulty in the game, you'll actually get a separate final boss, a new final boss, as well as an extended ending and a different ending. So we're going to attempt to do this on Supreme Master. I actually just did this for the first time on stream a couple nights ago, and I did it twice back to back. So let's cross our fingers here, see if we can have a decent run. It is pretty stressful, actually. I wasn't expecting this to be, you know, a great challenge compared to the warrior difficulty, but it is quite difficult. One of the things that makes Double Dragon 2 hard is that there's some really devious platforming about halfway through the game, which can just be very random for me in terms of, you know, my consistency at it. So, you know, we'll hope for the best there, but also you have a limited amount of lives. You only have 4 chances, so you get 3 lives, and once those are gone, it'll say 0 on your life bar count. And so you get about 4 chances to get through the game. You get no extra lives anywhere, not from points, not from pickups or anything like that. And some of those platforming sections towards the end of the game can be can really just siphon those lives out of you. So, like I said, once again, we're going to hope for the best, but we're going to go ahead and jump into this and hope we can do it. But of course, as usual, before I start things off, before I jump in, I want to give a big shout out to my current Patreon backers. So thank you guys for your continued support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in supporting this show through Patreon, links are in the description box as always. Also, thanks to the live stream super chatters from my recent live streams. I live stream on Friday night, so if you're around, feel free to stop in and say hello. So with that, let's go ahead and hit start. And there is actually sort of a cheat you can do to gain some extra lives. If you start the 2-player B mode, I believe, I think it's the B mode, you can actually beat up on your opponent, not your opponent, but your comrade, and as you kill him, you'll earn lives from doing so. So there's actually a way to get 7 lives in the game, as opposed to the stock 3 or so that you start off with. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to be trying to go through this game just with the stock life count, and yeah, we'll kind of see what happens. So Double Dragon 2 is story focused. There's a bunch of interludes and things like that between levels, and here we go. So Double Dragon 2 actually varies quite a bit from the original game on the NES. For one, kind of like the arcade Double Dragon 2 that this is loosely based on, it actually reverses your control. So if you swap to the left here and you press A, you'll actually kick, but if you turn to the right and press the same button, you'll punch. So that takes a little while to get used to in this game, is the reverse controls. If you've never played this game before and you give it a shot, that's something that might take a little while to adjust to. You've got a bunch of special moves in this game as well. One of my favorites is the hurricane kick, which is that right there. You basically jump up in the air, and you can press either A or B at the right time. A lot of times what I do is I just mash both buttons together just to make sure I get it. But that's one of the special moves, and I like to rely on that a lot in this game. You're going to see me using it quite a bit in this playthrough. There's a couple of other really neat supers as well, or special moves. One is if you jump and you duck. So when you jump in this game and you duck, I should say when you jump in this game, you'll always duck for just a moment. And if you mash the punch button, you'll do this uppercut as you come up. It's very, very powerful. And you have to make sure that you're using the alternated punch button. So if you're jumping to the right, you have to press A. If you're jumping to the left, you gotta press B. By pressing forward and both buttons together at the right moment, you'll do this knee attack, which is something I actually didn't really do in my previous Let's Play. I've had a really hard time doing it, and I'm still having a hard time doing it. Well, I'm making it look really easy, but the timing is very, very strict on it, and so it's very difficult to get that off. But it is insanely useful if you can get it off consistently. So, we'll see if we manage to pull that off later on in the video. So, as far as stock attacks go, I'd say your punch is actually the most powerful that you can do. You're going to see me relying on my punch attack just a lot over the course of this game. Even the final boss, you can just punch him to death. And that's pretty much my strategy for dealing with the real final boss in this game. Now, there are a couple of other parts in this game I have trouble with, and you guys will see what I mean once we get to them, if we get to them. There's a very good chance I'm going to have to redo this Let's Play multiple times. And then we just actually grabbed our opponent right there. So it's something that was carried over from the first Double Dragon. When your opponents are sort of, you know, bending down, you can walk up and grab them, kick them in the head, and then throw them like so. I don't usually do that a whole lot over the course of this game. I like to just use my basic punch attack. You do have weapons, of course, like you do in other Double Dragon games, but, you know, weapons aren't really all that great in Double Dragon 2 because they disappear after the enemies disappear that have held them. So, like, these guys brought in these pipes, but once those enemies go away, so do the weapons, which is kind of annoying. Like, now I understand that, you know, the first Double Dragon on NES did the same thing, but it felt like it wasn't quite as bad. Like, you know, if you ever got the baseball bat, it always felt like you could carry it a little bit longer than you can in this game. So that's one of the my least favorite parts about Double Dragon 2 on NES. I mean, I really wish they, you know, somehow got it to work where you could carry weapons all the way through the stages. That would be nice. Still, the combat in this game feels pretty awesome. It's, you know, probably one of the best beat-em-ups on the system. It's just quite varied in terms of your moveset. And you know, the stage progression and so forth is also quite varied. It's not like the same screen over and over and over again. So from start to finish, Double Dragon 2 is just this very varied experience from start to finish. It's really nice. Now, this definitely isn't going to be a game for everyone, because like I said, it's got some really awful platforming later on in the game. And, you know, just like in the first Double Dragon on NES, you have to press both buttons together to jump. And you can also do jump kicks and so forth. So, you know, like I had to jump from that higher platform to that lower platform. I'm going to do another jump right here. And platforming in these games has never really worked all that well. I know it didn't really work all that well in the first Double Dragon. It most certainly doesn't work all that well in this game. You get used to it, but if there's anything in this game that's going to be a turnoff for people, it's going to be the platforming. And the platforming can be really, really irritating in this game. Very stressful as well. Because in a lot of cases, you've got to have almost pixel-perfect jumping, unfortunately. So there's a little trick right here. I'm just going to do the hurricane kick and try to knock all these enemies off, like so. And we're going to try to do it to all of them. You gotta time it just right, though, otherwise they might land on the platform, and then they'll just jump back and you'll have to fight them normally. So there's a couple of parts in the game where you can kill enemies really fast by taking advantage of endless pits. And, and I think there's going to be another guy right here. Yep, there he is. He always pops out last. And then I have a trick for these guys coming up. You have to basically fight two ninjas. I'm going to do a hurricane kick right there. And do another one right there. And another one if we can. And I don't usually get a third off. The hurricane kick works really well against these guys. A lot of times they'll just run right into it. Alright, good fight. Now you have to fight those guys again, right near the end of the game, but you've got a Z-axis to worry about, like on the first level. So there are some areas in Double Dragon 2 where it's just side-scrolling. There's no up and down Z-axis movement. And fighting those guys on a strict 2D plane is actually pretty easy. You can just do your hurricane kick over and over. But fighting them on a Z-axis is absolutely awful. It's very difficult to tell where they are. And I'll find myself just getting trapped by them endlessly. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Alright, so the trick here and the gimmick is to try to hit enemies towards that door. And when the door opens, they basically just fall out like so. And you got a set of enemies to deal with. And this is where we actually deal with our first Abobo as well. Abobos are the big hulking-looking enemies, kind of notorious in the Double Dragon series. I'm gonna try to get a hurricane kick on him. Nope, I failed. So you're gonna actually have to fight two Abobos here. And I find that the Abobos in Double Dragon 2 are much trickier to deal with than they are in the first Double Dragon. Much more dangerous in this game. And if you get too close to them, they can throw you as well. And I'm just going to stay away from him. A lot of times what I like to do against these guys is just try to kick them. Because your kick has pretty good reach. It's probably the weakest attack in the game, but it does have good reach. Alright, let's hopefully... that sucks him out. Awesome, good. Alright, good start, actually, but the thing about Double Dragon 2 is there's a lot of points in the game on Supreme Master where things can just go downhill just like that. You know, you think you've had a great run, and then you just lose a couple lives back to back, and it can be absolutely awful. So we'll see what happens here. In terms of my problem points in this game, this is usually where it starts, where things start to go downhill. Now, things can go downhill earlier if you're not careful, but on this part in particular, you're at a severe disadvantage because you can't jump from here on out on the rest of this stage, and you'll see what I mean once we go down this elevator here. So basically there's spikes up top. If you touch them, you get hurt a little bit. And if I jump, I touch them. I'm going to try to punch this guy right here. The great thing about your punches in this game is they have pretty good priority. And in Double Dragon 2, there's also these Abobo alternates. We basically just call them, you know, Arnie's or Arnold Schwarzenegger ripoffs, basically. They're like Arnold Schwarzenegger versions of the Abobo characters. And you have to deal in this court with, holy crap, I can't talk right now. I apologize for that, guys. You have to deal with one in this corridor, but you can't jump. So you can't do your hurricane kick, you can't do any of that. Sometimes you can get a knee off, but that entails you getting knocked down to the ground or jumping. See, I'm trying to do the knee right here. The timing is just so tough. It's very, very difficult. But yeah, with the Arnold Schwarzenegger looking guys, it's punching actually overrides their attacks quite a bit. And even with the Abobos here, as you can see, if you time it just right, punching is very, very, very good in this game. So punch lots. Another platforming section. You got these conveyor belts here, and you have to go and hold up on that door. And there's going to be some more semi-nasty platforming on this level as well, but not as much on this level that can cause instant death. But even up to the boss fight, there is some platforming that you have to do. We'll go ahead and pick up this mace. The mace will actually kill these Linda characters in one hit. But again, like I said, you know, once those characters are dead, the weapon goes with them. So, you know, I don't usually bother picking up weapons in this game, but there are a couple of instances where, you know, it might let you go through a section a little bit faster. So I'll pick up the mace right now, and then I'll lose it. I was gonna go thwack and just, you know, kill her in one hit, but... So there's actually two ways you can go here. You can take the top route, or you can take the bottom route. I find that the bottom route here is much safer. You have to make more jumps, but your jumps are much less precise. Oops, I'm gonna come down here, actually, and just use my hurricane kick. Just like so. One of the tricks in Double Dragon 2 is if there are any enemies on higher platforms than you, if you get down and just do your hurricane kick, you'll pretty much hit them guaranteed. As long as they're on the platform that's higher than you. So we'll just come down here and do it again. See, just like that. They don't ever do anything, they don't ever attack you. Alright, and we're gonna try to get a shortcut right here. Not really a shortcut, but we'll try to kill the upcoming enemies really quick. So after you fight these guys, these ropers is what they call them, you have to fight two Abobos back to back. But there's a trick to the Abobos, and you can just knock them off the edge instantly. Bam, like that. And we failed that one, but that's okay. At least we got one. So I'm gonna just try the old punch method again, and we just got thrown. Doing okay health-wise. I'm pretty happy with that so far. We've only lost 2 blocks of health. And as you can see, punching is just very good. With these guys, I just usually punch them. You can try to kick them, but again, kicking is weak. And, you know, I don't mind trading a couple hits. So if I hit them a few times and they hit me once, not a big deal, as long as I don't lose too much health. We got 4 blocks of health. As long as we can get through this part without losing too much health, we're good. So you'll notice there's these 3 pipes up there shooting out this, I guess, heat or water or vapor or something like that. If you touch that, that does some pretty hefty damage to you. Oh, and we messed up there. Ah, messed up again. So what you need to do is avoid the first one on the bottom, jump straight up to the second one, and we failed that. You have to get up to the top platform, and then this whole thing stops moving. That's the trick. And, ooh, we got lucky. Awesome. We got it. So I think we're pretty much good here. So I'm going to drop down here, actually. Oops. Not what I was planning on doing, but that's okay. We're just going to rely on our hurricane kick. Try to avoid this fire while we're at it. Now we're just going to sit down here and just use the hurricane kick over and over and over again. Another Arnold Schwarzenegger looking character is going to pop out. There we go. I'm sure he's got an actual name, but I mean, just look at him. Unfortunately, after this, we have to deal with some nasty platforming. The next set of stages is going to be mostly revolving around platforming, unfortunately. But we are making pretty good progress in the game. No lives lost yet, which is good. If I actually manage to get to the final boss, I need at least 1 life to deal with him. If I get there with 0 lives left, then it's... I don't know, it's not going to be a guaranteed win. Alright, so right here, you're going to notice that there's fire falling. The far left fire will actually fall twice, and then the middle one will fall. And what we're going to do is wait for that bottom platform to appear. Like so, and then jump. The timing is very tight on that. So kind of like if enemies are on higher platforms than you, if you're on a higher platform than the enemies, they're pretty much going to jump up guaranteed. And you can just do your hurricane kick, and they'll run into your hurricane kick, guaranteed as well. Oops, and I keep messing up my hurricane kick. Let's just try to kick this guy. There we go. And so you can basically use this trick on this part right here, just like so. Alright, some more platforming. And what I'm going to do here is actually push the screen over as far as I can. And I'm going to jump up here. And I'm going to jump right here. I like to get over as far over to the right as possible in that platform. Otherwise, I'll overshoot my next jump. And that one right there is very, very difficult. If you miss this top jump, you'll fall down into that middle spike pit, guaranteed. So in this game, you want to try to make sure you're as far on the edge as possible, sometimes hanging just slightly off the edge, you know, classic NES style like Mega Man or Double Dragon. You can't sit that far off the edge of a platform, though, in this game without falling. So you have to be very, very careful in this. The platform in Double Dragon 2 is just really nasty. And this level is all about platforming as well. So this part, you got conveyor belts. What I like to do is try to do a jump like so, and then jump over to this one, and then jump there, like that. If you try to fall down manually, you'll actually do a Double Dragon 1 style fall, and the conveyor belt, you land on your back, basically, and the conveyor belt will basically force you into the spikes, unfortunately. So a trick with this guy is you can try to get over like this, and bam, knock him off the edge like that. But I'm just going to play it safe here. Because unlike the Abobos, he doesn't throw you in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to punch him like this. Off the edge you go. So this is a very tricky section as well. If you can't kill this guy in time, you're going to end up, you know, falling to your death in the, you know, to the spikes. And these are a pain as well. You gotta watch out for the spikes on the bottom that fly up. There's a very set pattern. Very nice. First try. That is actually amazing. I always die there. I'm actually pretty happy about that. That's actually quite awesome. Alright, get that out of there. I don't want that there. Alright, that should be it. Nope, he's still alive. Okay. There we go. Alright, good deal. Now you gotta watch out for the bottom there. I'm pretty sure you can fall to your death, just like in the first Double Dragon. There's a bunch of areas in the first game where you can fall to your death just by walking off the bottom of the Z-axis. So you don't want to go too far to the bottom there. Like I said, I just like to rely on my punches a lot of the time. It's just very, very powerful. Maybe do a hurricane kick for posture if I can. Bam. And I knew that guy was going to appear there. And you know, one thing I could probably try to do is... never mind. I was gonna say maybe they'll climb up, but it looks like these guys don't climb. There's gonna be more guys popping in over here, too. See, with these guys, you can just punch them, and it'll take about 6 punches, I think. And then they'll just sort of keel over, and then you can do a hurricane kick after that point. Just don't get ganged up like this. You need to be a little bit safer, because we're gonna have to fight in Arnie one-on-one. And right here. Bam, got him. I'm trying to use my knee, and that's a bad idea. Because I can't time it right. Very nice. Yeah, I mistimed my knee again. So sometimes I'll just play it safe, and I'll just do the kick into the hurricane kick. And a good trick you can use is you can take advantage of the Z-axis, get above or below an enemy, and then just sort of kick them as they walk up. They'll just walk right into your kick. And that's a trick I like to use on those guys. So instead of trying to just hit them directly on, I try to let them walk into my kick as they move up or down that Z-axis. Alright, so this is actually our final level in the game, guys, and we're in really good shape right now, but there's a part not too long from now that where the run could just really fall apart. Again, it's that part I was talking about where you've got to deal with those 2 ninjas on the Z-axis. And it's just very, very difficult for me to deal with, so we're going to try our best here. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna punch these guys. Yeah, 6 and then a hurricane kick. And you'll kill them in, you know, in one swoop. Just like so. Alright, so now we have to deal with one Arnie and 2 Abobos back to back. You want to go ahead and just try to use our Z-axis trick again, just over and over. We're going to bait him up like this, and then walk down quickly. And if it fails, we're going to walk up. That should be... Nope, he's still alive. Dead. Okay, good. You gotta watch out for these guys, because when they knock you over, they'll basically get a couple of free hits on you. Very stressful, especially when you have no life left. And I'm halfway on my life bar right now. There we go, he's dead. Awesome. Oh, and there's only one Abobo. I thought there was 2 Abobos. Okay, well, I'll take that. I'm okay with that. Alright, and this is where we fight the ninja guys again. Oops, and I messed up my hurricane kick. That's really bad. Sometimes what I like to do is get up here, and sometimes you can hit them. They'll just kind of run into you if you're up at the top. Sometimes. It would be amazing if I can kill these guys without losing a life. Got him. Dead. Okay. And you can see what I'm talking about here. It's just such a pain in the ass to deal with these guys on this Z-axis. If it's just a straight 2D plane, it's easy to deal with them, but dealing with them like this is just such a pain. You can't ever tell where they are, and they jump around like idiots. Bam, got him. Thank you. Got him too. Awesome, just one more. Whew. That had me worried there for a second. I was worried I was going to actually lose all my lives here. Which that has actually happened before. Bam. Alright, good deal. Alright, so we have to basically fight a shadow version of ourselves. And the trick I like to use here, if I can, is to do a hurricane kick, and then you can just cycle the hurricane kick over and over and over again. Like this. If you can time the hurricane kick right, anyway. Come on, dude. Never had this much trouble with him. Like this. Sometimes he'll duck it, but just try it again. He's probably gonna kill us there. Nope. There we go. Good. Okay, so that's going to put us at the final boss with 2 lives left, which is really, really good. So, the trick now for me is to try to just punch him over and over and over and over again, because again, your punch has really good priority. I read a walkthrough where they suggested that you just hurricane kick him over and over, but I didn't really find much luck with that. So, you know, you're going to end up trading some hits here, but as long as you've got a couple lives left, you should be able to just punch him over and over again. So there's two phases here. The first phase, he can go invisible. And like I said, I'm just going to keep punching him over and over again. There we go, we're halfway through the fight. So now he can't go invisible anymore. But since I was just punching him over and over, he couldn't go invisible anyway, which was nice. It's okay, we've got multiple lives left. Bam! And we just beat Double Dragon 2 on Supreme Master. So that's my third time doing this, and this is my best run yet. As far as all my attempts go. Very, very stressful because, you know, at any given moment in this game, you can just lose all your lives, or lose a bunch of your lives, and that just really puts you on edge. So there, I finally have a Let's Play of this where I beat it on the hardest difficulty. Had a lot of complaints on my original Double Dragon 2 Let's Play from many years ago, where, you know, people were like, oh, you didn't actually beat the game. You only played it on the normal difficulty. Scrub. So now I can finally put that to bed. And I've got a full Let's Play of the hardest difficulty mode. It's a good feeling, because I didn't know that, you know, at the time of recording my original Let's Play, I didn't know there was more to the hardest difficulty mode. I thought it was just, you know, maybe enemies did more damage or something like that, and you'd get the same ending. But no, there's actually extended gameplay on the hardest difficulty mode. And if you're trying to do it without the 7 life cheat, or 7 lives cheat, by beating up your comrade in the beginning, it's very difficult to get through the game on the hardest mode. I was worried that I'd have to do this Let's Play multiple times, and I was kind of fearing that. In reality, that might have actually benefited me, because, you know, I feel like I just woke up prior to doing this Let's Play, and I feel like my speech patterns aren't really quite there yet, if you know what I mean. But, I'm glad I just got that run out of the way, because it's a pain in the ass. It's definitely a pain. I'm just so glad I was able to get it on my first try. So yeah, there you go, guys. Double Dragon 2 on the NES on Supreme Master. Pretty awesome game. Very difficult on the hardest difficulty mode, and some of that platforming is absolutely awful. And so if you're new to this game, you're thinking about giving it a try, just keep in mind there is some nasty platforming throughout the course of this game, but I still recommend trying it. It's definitely one of the best looking, sounding, and feeling beat-em-ups on the NES. I mean, I can't really think of a single beat-em-up that really kind of outdoes this game when it comes to just the standard, you know, traditional beat-em-up combat. The platforming sucks, and all 3 Double Dragons on the NES have crappy platforming. Even Double Dragon 3, which, you know, you go through, you know, the first 80% of the game, and there's, like, no platforming, and then the last 20% is, like, all platforming. So even that one throws in that nasty platforming as well at some point. But I still recommend trying Double Dragon 2 if you haven't played it. It's still an awesome game. And I think it has actually held up pretty well, too. Especially as far as NES games go. But yeah, Supreme Master, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be back with another Let's Play sometime soon, as usual. So yeah, if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I've got a lot of Let's Plays here and many more to come. And of course, I wanted to give another big shout out to the current Patreon backers and Super Chatters. Thank you guys as well. And for everyone else, thanks for watching as always. I hope you guys continue to enjoy these videos. So yeah, with that, I'm out. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, take it easy.